That's right, Manchester United have just beaten Arsenal at home 3-1, and if you told me that was going to be the score after 60 minutes, I'm not into violence, but I would have slapped you. See, much like the hoodie I'm wearing, this Arsenal team had sauce all over it, except today it was gravy, because despite all of the really technical and skillful players on that Arsenal team sheet, the likes of Jesus, Odegaard and Martinelli, they simply could not get enough output to put away Manchester United when they probably deserved it on the overall outlook of the game. And whereas with this Manchester United side, despite them not controlling the game at all today, I don't think they needed to. They managed to cut through Arsenal at will at times with these deadly counter-attacks, the same counter-attacks that they used to dispatch Liverpool just a couple of weeks ago, and they made their chances count. You can have all of this incisive passing and skillful touches, but if you're not going to score, you're not going to win. Mikel was right, ladies and gentlemen. And to all of those people that doubted whether or not Erik ten Hag could adapt his football to the English game, or more importantly, whether or not his Manchester United players can adapt their football to Erik ten Hag's philosophy, I was certainly one of those people, but it's certainly working so far. I mean, this game was a sort of chess match between the two managers. Arteta, who came into this game with such an incredible start to the season, and for such a relatively inexperienced manager, you couldn't ask for a better start. And Erik ten Hag, who's been put under the microscope ever since the season started, Erik ten Hag came out on top. If you asked me that a couple of weeks ago, I would have slapped you. Again, not violence, but let's get a little bit more in depth as to how this game panned out, because in the first 30 minutes, Jesus was absolutely outstanding. I mean, what a signing this is for Arsenal. He fits into Arteta's system so perfectly. He was dropping in so deep, almost into this midfield role, which is such a contrast to a lot of the strikers that we see coming into the Premier League with the likes of Núñez and Haaland, who are always looking to play on the shoulder, whereas Jesus is playing his most effective football, where he's drawing out defenders, and you've got these huge defenders like Varane, and average size men like Martinez, and he would outmuscle them, he would outfight them for the ball, and then he would link up play with Martinelli and Saka on the other side, and he looked like he was the perfect key to unlock Arsenal's success in this game. Whereas Man United, on the other hand, seemed as though they just didn't trust their midfield at all. Their link-up play was atrocious. Look, we know what Erik ten Hag likes to do. We saw it against Liverpool. He likes his midfielders to spray those balls into the channels between the opposition's centre-back and the full-back, almost to create these counter-attacking opportunities, or to at least drag the team up the pitch. And, you know, these balls were being played by the centre-back, the full-back, and Saliba was mopping them up all day, winning aerial duels, cleaning up anything that was going in behind. So we've got Arsenal playing some of the best football they've played at Old Trafford in decades, and we've got Manchester United, whose attack just looks completely hopeless, but all it takes is one lovely ball from Eriksen into Fernandes, into the path of Rashford. Rashford lays it on into Antony, and Antony, on his debut, slots it into the bottom left-hand corner. You couldn't ask for a better chance on your debut for a left footer, slots it past Ramsdale, and all of a sudden Manchester United are 1-0 up completely against the run of play. The key to this, and the key to every goal Manchester United scored today, is that staggered midfield three that Erik ten Hag likes to set his midfield up, and it's quite smart because it takes a little bit of the pressure off the likes of McTominay and Fred when he would come on, because we saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer play this two in midfield, McFred, right, and it will put a lot of eyes and attention on that midfield duo, and whenever they would get outrun by midfields, or they would lose the ball, or their passing just wouldn't be good enough, you know, they're getting so much criticism. But this staggered midfield allows for shorter passing, but progressing the ball so quickly up the pitch. Twice today, we saw Eriksen, Fernandes, striker, goal. Clearly, that is cutting through teams, and that will be something you'll see a lot from this Manchester United side throughout the season. Arsenal ended up getting a goal back, Saka, from a very similar position from Manchester United's first goal. You look at the two goals sort of overlapped, the first goal of each team. They were very, very similar to each other. Saka on that right-hand side, turns onto his left, slots it into the left-hand corner, past De Gea, and it's 1-1. But like I said, that staggered midfield three that Man United like to set up with allows them to progress the ball so quickly. What Arsenal saw and how they prepared for is they know that Manchester United, like we said, play those balls into the channels. So often the two centre-backs would leave that room in front of them. They wouldn't push up to the halfway line. They'd leave that room in front of them. And all it needs is Eriksen to play that ball into Fernandes, who found a lot of space just in front of those centre-backs. And you've got the rapid pace of Marcus Rashford. You got two today, and that will do his confidence a world of good, because He certainly hasn't had the best of times. And this is where this chess match comes into play between the two managers, because whether or not you like it or not, Arteta is a very inexperienced manager, and he saw that his Arsenal side just were not clinical enough today. Several times I was shouting at them, just get a shot off, just shoot. It almost seemed like they wanted to dribble through Manchester United's defence at times. So he made a very big call, a triple substitution, bringing in Emil Smith-Rowe, Vieira and Nketiah, and ultimately that was the downfall of his team because it ruined Arsenal's shape. Martinelli was playing left back. Why? Why is Martinelli playing left back? And the same goal pretty much happened over and over again. And they lost 3-1. But Arsenal will be back. They showed great football today. They played some of the best football they've played at that stadium in a long, long time. And they'll cut through so many teams playing like they did. They just need to shoot. Because if you don't score, you don't win. Mikel Owen, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.